Good evening, Vancouver. Welcome back to Canucks After Dark, September 11th. Big day for the Vancouver Canucks. A new captain. Good for us, because we would have had not much to talk about otherwise. But as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Canuck Clay. How are you doing today, Clay?
I am great, Parker. Thank you for asking. I am healing. I'm 4 weeks in to my injury. 2 more weeks until my cast comes off. I see all the good athletes get Achilles tendons injuries. But before we get to me or continue, look at your. I noticed a different look. What's going on, man?
Yeah, the light. Ignore the lighting, but and ignore the potential echo. I can hear it going through my own headphones. But
No, it sounds good. It sounds good.
No, we're in a new location. Nothing on the walls yet, but
Yeah.
it is coming together. But no, we're getting set up for hockey season. You know, it's a big year. New captain for the Canucks.
That's true.
New outlook on life. Maybe the team will be good. Maybe, and it would be nice to have a fresh start all around.
Good.
Really.
Good. But you're settled in. You're going okay. It's been okay.
Everything's good. Everything's
Yeah.
good. Everything's
Awesome. No, it looks good. And I know you're running around a bit getting ready, so it looks fine, sounds fine. And we're always looking good and sounding good because we're here for you. All the viewers here already waiting for us to get going. I can tell people are excited, man.
Yeah, no, it should be a fun one. We do have a lot to get to. I mean, not a lot, but a good amount of stuff for an early September show.
Yeah.
We are inching closer and closer to the preseason training camp.
Wow.
We've got young stars coming up, which I don't know how much focus I'm going to give to that, but it's still, it's hockey. And as we are, football season just started this week. So it really feels like as summer's dying down and today was a little overcast and not as exciting out, we're getting there. It's sports time.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that about the change in weather, and just before, and then we'll get to Lucas's donation. So because of my injury, obviously I have to wear shorts, right? I can't wear pants. I can't. It's not over the cast. And up until today, Parker, it felt good. Like it was sunny, it was warm, and I felt happy that I could wear just a golf shirt and shorts to work and not my usual shirt and tie. Today, not complaining, first world problems, but the change in weather is the first day I actually felt cold, and I actually wish that I was wearing a full suit for the first time. But maybe, I don't know, is the weather going to be like this forever now, or have we completely officially changed?
I think we'll get a little bit of warmth. We'll get that. We always have like these little false seasons here, right? Where we get the little... it's like, oh no, it's cold now, and then we'll get something hot, or oh, it's summer now, and then it gets to 13 degrees again in the beginning of June. So I'm sure we'll get a little bit of a hot spot. It looks like the end of this week, even I think Friday's supposed to be 28. So we should be
well,
fine.
you know what keeps us warm? Donations. Lucas, thank you for the $5 donation. Quinn getting the C. Yes, sir. That's what we're going to talk about. The Jets dropping the ball on Rodgers like they normally do. Well, that was unfortunate. And I have to admit, today was a good day. Thank you, Lucas, for that donation. And people already using their membership message. Carol acknowledging she's been a member for 13 months. Thank you. Fangirl at 14 months. And Coach Rob at 14 months. Thank you, everyone, for your support, donations, and your membership. Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It is good to have all of you here.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we really have a marquee topic, which we didn't have 14 hours ago, maybe.
Sure.
I don't know exactly when they announced it.
8:15.
8:15, bright and early on a Monday morning. Not hiding the news. No Friday 5 p.m. news cycle shenanigans like we've seen them do quite a bit. But this is something that we've sort of heard coming down the pipeline for quite a while. Yeah. Surprising that it was announced this, because I mean, you remember the Horvat captaincy was a mystery really until it happened. A mystery. Everyone knew who it was going to be, but they didn't tell anybody for the very least. But yeah, I mean, a month out before the start of the regular season, maybe they're thinking, less distractions. This team has had enough distractions over the last couple of years. They need to get out strong. But yeah, they come out and make it official today.
Yeah, and I'll let you, obviously everyone knows what we're talking about. I'll let you set it up. But I will say one thing, Parker, because you said it so well. What a difference. The mystery, the hoopla, Henrik coming out, home opener, Horvat, adulation. And this one was kind of, you're right. They didn't bury it on a Friday afternoon, but a Monday morning, a sleepy Monday morning. and talk it. And especially Alvin were saying that they want to do things differently. They didn't use the word distraction, but you could tell they want to nail it now a whole month before the season starts, so we can all get used to it. We can ask all the questions now, so he can be established as their true leader as they go into the season. And really, yeah, I think it's a bit of a change over, because it was the previous regime when Horvat was named captain many years ago. So maybe yet another indication that they want to do things differently, and I'm fine with it. Actually, I thought that was a good, professional, tidy. We say contract signings are tidy. That was a good, tidy press conference, and I think it was befitting of Quinn Hughes. Simple, to the point, tidy, and I'm excited, man. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have I said in the past few weeks that I think the team looks better on paper, but they've wronged me so many times lately that I don't trust them. Doing things differently, I'm all for it. Let's change up as much things as we can. I don't know how superstitious it is or how much it actually has an impact, but they need to change things, and the more things that are changing, the better. It was good to see, they had JT Miller on hand.
Yes.
Pettersson, Thatcher Demko, the three of them standing there, which was good. Bo Horvat gave Hughes a shout out on Instagram as well. Yeah. So everything seems, things seem happy for now. Who knows how long that lasts? I mean, we're 10 days away from training camp. Next Thursday it kicks off. So who knows, with lots of time for things to go wrong before then. But at least for right now, everything seems good, and it's a fresh start. 15th captain in Canucks history. I'm sure you saw the Canucks Twitter graphic and Instagram graphic that they put up.
I heard about this.
That only included 13 of the 14 previous captains.
Who is missing, Parker?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there was anyone missing. I think they did exactly what they should have done, and leaving Mark Messier off of the photo. Very just. It's just funny because everyone has sort of agreed, all sides, right? Messier's side, the Canucks side, they'll just, we'll just forget that happened. That's good. We don't need to even acknowledge it. So I thought that was pretty funny.
The graphic, and by the way, we can't highlight it on StreamYard for some reason, but Coach Rob coming through, helping us grow, gifting 5 memberships, goes to Jaskarin, Chris, Angus, Derek, and another Chris. So welcome to membership, all 5 of you, and thank you, Coach Rob. That is awesome. I love what you said, though, about Demko, PD, and JT Miller. They're all 3 of Patrick Alvin, Rick Tocchet, and Quinn Hughes. Name-checked them. Said they're showing their support. These are all leaders as well. It doesn't mean they're necessarily going to get A's, but I found that very, it was nice. It's one of those feel-good things. Obviously, they got Quinn's back, and maybe it doesn't matter, but do you think they offered to come? They probably got asked to come, and they were fine with it. But regardless, it was great to see them.
Yeah, the team's been skating together at least already. It seems. I mean, earlier in the week, they had that debacle whatever that was a few months ago, where they had a coach help them practice, and they got fined for that. But now, and then the NHL changed the rules right after that and said you are allowed as long as the players initiate it and it's one coach. So they've been in Vancouver at least practicing with a skills coach at the very least. Yeah. So at least they were all here, and I'm sure it was. I'm sure they're starting to do. I guess I don't know, how does training camp work? Can they not? They're not even allowed to
They're allowed to be on. Now they're allowed to be on the ice with a skills coach. I don't know. Yeah, they got fined.
There's so many weird little wrinkles in the CBA, but it feels like they're all allowed to at least work out at the facility. Correct. And you think they're probably there most of the time anyway, most days anyways. And they probably said, hey, we're doing this completely optional because we can't force you to be here because the CBA will get us in trouble. Yes, I'm sure they had to make that very clear. Yes. But they were good to go.
By the way, Parker, what number captain is this?
This is 15.
Okay, and Coach Rob gifted 5 memberships, so Carol just gifted 10 memberships to get us to 15. Wow. So Carol, thank you, and welcome to membership. Peter, Blitz, Taylor, Ivan, Karan, Jesse, BC Born, Daniel, and an SMW. 15 memberships just today, and Spartan gets in on the action too. $2 donation. Thank you, Spartan. Who's this Messier? I'm not sure. And the Canucks, I guess, weren't sure. Oh, no, they were sure today by leaving him off the graphic. Thank you for your donation. Well, Parker, people are generous, man. They're getting ready for this year. This is awesome.
People are. I'm starting to feel it too. And again, I do this every year, and I tell myself I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I've been hurt too many times. I'm getting excited. I'm excited for hockey season. Like my like beer league teams have kicked back in, so like I'm back on the ice. And I'm like, yeah, we're back. I'm especially because it's still kind of nice outside. I'm sure when it's November and it's 7 degrees outside, and it's cold, and the Canucks have lost 3 games in a row, that I will be sad and wish it was summer again. But for now, it's exciting to look forward and have a little bit of hope.
Yeah. So let's actually get into this. Your initial reaction, neither of us surprised. We've actually talked about. I won't speak for you. I know up until April or March, I was thinking it was going to be PD, and I thought it should be PD.
Yeah.
We start to hear Rick Tocchet talk glowingly about Hughes' leadership. We start to see Hughes in front of the media more, sticking up for players. Tanner Pearson's injury, to name a few, and it just seemed like it was trending this way. And I think it was sealed when PD basically came out and said he wasn't in a rush to kind of scare the fan base. So not a surprise, I guess.
Yeah, we did a stream. We did a show on April 3rd.
Yeah.
April 3rd, and it was titled Captain Quinn Hughes or Elias Pettersson. And I think one of the things that we talked about there, because that was when the sort of media narrative shifted a little bit away from Pettersson towards Quinn Hughes. And we sort of looked at it and said, yeah, well, I mean, Pettersson's on an expiring deal next year, right? Like, what are the odds? Like, if he's signing a 5+ year deal in the off season, then sure, he can be in contention. But do you really want to go down the route of having Elias Pettersson, naming him your captain, and then if the team's 5 games out of a playoff spot in March and he's demanding a trade because he's not going to re-sign, right? Like, where's that going to end up, right? That's not going to be, trading your captain back-to-back years. The trade deadline wouldn't be too good. So it's a safer pick. And Quinn Hughes was the guy who, from everything that we've heard from the locker room, he's the guy that sort of stepped up when Bo left the room, right? He stepped up, and no one would have expected that, right? Like, you look at Quinn Hughes, like, oh, this quiet guy who's like very soft-spoken, but apparently in the room he's a lot different. So I obviously wasn't surprised. I was surprised that it happened at this time, but I have really no issues whatsoever.
And the PD thing is interesting, Parker, because I know a lot of people would say, well, make him the captain, and that's going to make him want to sign here more. And while I do have time for that argument, the argument I have more time for was you give him the captaincy. That's even more leverage to a guy who's already got a lot of leverage. So maybe they're not worried about that. But I just, to me, it never seemed like PD, that was a deal breaker for him either way. Truly. And whereas you hear Quinn talk about it, how he's talking about it's an honor, it's a privilege. I've loved playing here. It's great. It means a great deal to me was his exact term. You could see that he wanted more. And even if they offered to PD and he said, no, that's fine. It doesn't matter. We're not worried about the order of events here. We're just worried about the final result. So, just to put that PD kind of Hughes juxtaposition is very interesting to me. And although I was in the PD camp, say 5 months ago, I love this decision today.
Yeah, I have no qualms whatsoever. I just hope it's for a long time. I thought another thing I thought that was really interesting though was Demko being a part of that sort of leadership group. Yeah, I thought that was very interesting. They should have. Why didn't they give him the C? That would have been fun.
That always works out here.
Yeah, that's 100% success rate, I'm sure.
Yes.
I thought that would be funny, but maybe they give him an A. That would be a good move.
Yep. And Parker, and I know we're going to get to comments later, but here's one point that I actually brought up in my stream last night too, and I kind of said it kind of tongue in cheek, but if this means 4 years from now, when Quinn Hughes' contract expires and he needs a new contract, if this helps sway, move the balance, so to speak, that less chance of him bolting to New Jersey to join his brothers, I'm fine with it. I think it's great.
Yeah, I don't know if brothers should just come here, right?
Exactly.
Jack Hughes doesn't need to be like, you don't want to be in New Jersey, right? So
thank you, Jamie the Frog. Yeah. So you're right. It sounds obviously he's such a good player on the ice. We don't have to talk about his skill set. And then in the leader room, I do think he has commanded the respect of all the young guys, his peers like Petey, and the guys like that are older than him. So I think he's and he's good in front of the media. That's a very important part. It's very we might not think it's the most vital part, but you got to be able to face the music after wins and the inevitable losses in this market. And I just think Hughes has a better temperament to do that than Petey or Miller.
Yeah, he's very stoic and
Yeah.
has a good demeanor. I mean, I feel people make this big thing about how important it is to like be in front of the media and stuff like this, but they all just have to say the same things, right? Every single time. But I guess, you know, it's good to not have someone who's going to get a little too spicy in front of the mic, like maybe a JT Miller might if things are going wrong or things of that nature.
So you play on it's beer league, but it's still like you're in a competitive league for hockey. Do you guys have not do you guys have a captain, but can you see, are you worried that Hughes's demeanor is almost too laid back, or we're not in the room, we don't know exactly, and everyone leads in a different way, we're not too worried about that?
Yeah, I don't think it matters. I think it really, leading by example, I think is the most important part. It's, you know, you definitely want to look at someone who's putting in the effort, right? If you have, let's say you had JT Miller wearing the C when he had those points last year where like he didn't play defense and didn't, you know, like, but like those stood out, right? You know, we can laugh about it. It was kind of silly and how upset everyone got about it, but you know, the leaders putting in the effort makes other people want to put in the effort, right? If the guy with the C on his jersey isn't going out every shift and trying hard, well, why should I, right? Yeah. So I think that's the most important thing. And the other important thing is obviously that they have the respect of everyone in the room, right? That they can stand up and talk and everyone will listen. I know, you know, the Sedins obviously had that. I guess even Luongo had that to an extent. Not that he could do much with it on the ice, but it was. It's for me. It's all about leading by example.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember when Quinn Hughes made his debut? And I think it was very first game. It was against LA. There was an overtime. It was him, Petey, and Brock. Yeah. And they had the puck on the string. And I think John Shortout says, Canucks fans, get ready for many more years of this, which is pretty cool.
You're looking at the future or something.
That's what it was. Yeah. Who would have thought? And you just look at Hughes looks young now for his age. Remember how much of a little boy he looked like when he first started?
Yeah, no, Well, he was young, right?
I guess that's why he looked like that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But to think back then, and why would we have thought this? No one was saying back then, "Oh, get ready, 5 years from now, this is gonna be your next captain." That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
It is for sure. Yeah, and I like what we're seeing from the group, at least for the limited amount of access we get. Right? They seem that they're going to be gelling better, and I don't know if Horvat was the problem. I don't think he was, but there was, you know, change is good when things are going bad. Yeah.
Do you follow all these lists like that? Athletic does, or Bleacher Report, or NHL.com, top defenseman, top this. So Quinn Hughes has been falling out of if it's a top 5 list, he's always number 6. If it's a top 10 list, he's always number 11. I don't know how. So Craig Button did a top 5 defenseman under 25 though. So there's the caveat, under 25. He was number 2. He had Power at 5, Heiskanen at 4, Dahlin at 3, he was at 2, and Makar at 1. So
interesting.
But I didn't think he'd have him that high. Maybe he was. The whole point of doing that list today was because of this Quinn Hughes news. But I find it quite interesting that he was that high. But we talked about this before. We always put him in that big 5 of him, Makar, Heiskanen, Dahlin, and I guess you put Adam Fox in there as well. And there's other young players too, like the Powers and the Siders that are coming up even younger than them. So it's a really we're blessed to see some really good defensemen right now.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that, like you can say like, oh, you look at Quinn Hughes, like how isn't he a top 5 defensemen in the NHL? And then you start listing those names, and you're like, okay, well, yeah, you're making some strong cases, right? Like Makar is better, right?
Yeah.
Adam Fox has a Norris, right?
Yeah.
Dahlin is phenomenal. I think Hughes is ahead of Heiskanen a little bit right now, but I could easily see that going either way too. Like that group is very, very good, and people get so caught up in, you know, anytime there was anything about Quinn Hughes, people are talking about Makar. Anything comes up about Makar, people are talking about Quinn Hughes. I think they're both really good. You know, like relax a little bit. They're only playing each other like 3 times a year, anyways.
And completely random, but because I just typed in top NHL defenseman, I should have been a little bit more specific. So the first link that comes up is Best defenseman on NHL 24, the EA Sports game. Just take a guess. The way I'm leading it, it's low. Guess what number Hughes is. Remember, this is a video game, and he's tied with like 10 guys.
He probably has like a 38 strength rating, which could not be helping his overall. He's probably like 9th.
Yeah, 16th.
Oh wow,
16th. But
that seems low.
But he was given 87. But there are 6 guys with 88 and 4 guys with 89. So in essence, he's 3 rating points out of top 5, which is Makar, Yossi, Hedman, Carlson, and Fox. And then a bunch of guys all piled in there, Hughes included.
There's
so
a little bit of legacy in there, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. Wow. So, okay. So we both think it's the right move. We both weren't surprised. We actually both like the way that they announced it. Is there anything that gives you the heebie-jeebies about today?
No, I don't think so. I noticed right after it was announced, like Elias Pettersson posted something completely unrelated on his Instagram story because I was just scrolling. And I was like, I see that Bo Horvat's already said something, but Pettersson hasn't. But he was there, and then he posted the thing later. Okay. We never know, but that was, I think that's a bit of nothing.
It's a bit of nothing, exactly. And people reminding us that he's the third fastest to 200 assists, or fastest to 200 assists. He's 3rd overall in league history in assists per game by a defenseman, which is that's a pretty amazing stat
good.
already.
He's a pretty good playmaker.
I'd say so. Okay. So, by the way, 15th captain. Yes. Only the last defenseman to be a captain was actually a 3-man team that included Doug Lidster 22 years ago. And then before that, someone McCarthy. Was it Steve McCarthy? I can't remember. I looked it up. Well, I don't think it's John McCarthy. John McCarthy's a priest I work with. So Steve McCarthy. Anyways, there's a defenseman before that. But yes, we haven't had a defenseman as a captain in 23 years, which is another great accomplishment for sure.
Yeah, and he's not the style of defenseman you'd expect to be a captain.
Right.
You'd expect him to be the 6'4", 230-pound, power, like the Eric Goodbranson type,
Yes.
But not the smaller, skillful guy, but good on him.
Yeah. And yes, thank Terry Ann telling me and reminding me it's Kevin McCarthy. Not any of the McCarthys that I said. And Spartan, another $2 donation, gets in this dig at our previous captain. Already a better captain. Tell you that for free. Very good. Wow. Very good, Spartan.
I think John McCarthy is a UFC ref.
Oh, that's
John
true.
McCarthy.
Yeah, Big John McCarthy. That's right.
That's all I thought of.
Love it.
Anything else on Quinn Hughes, or should we move on to some other big news?
Let's go. Let's keep on going. This is good.
Tampa Bay Lightning signing Tyler Mott, 1 year, $800,000, so essentially free. Kind of surprising that they expected the market to be higher, and he really just gets basically league minimum.
How the mighty have fallen. When we traded him away, Parker, what was the thought that he wanted? I can't remember. Was it 2?
Yeah, it was around 2. Yeah, and. That's the thing, right? You looked at it and said, yeah, someone will give that to him, right? He's a good bottom 6 guy, but the bottom end of rosters is getting just crunched by this flat salary cap, right? I mean, you look at the Canucks signings, right? Like Pius Suter wasn't supposed to, his projected market value was quite a bit higher than he ended up being. Yeah. You can go and pick up these guys for essentially free to fill out your roster. And Tyler Mott is one that I'm surprised he didn't end up I'm surprised it wasn't earlier that he signed. I guess he held out for as long as he could, but
true.
Yeah, it's would have been nice to have him back, but I think I'd rather have him in the lineup over like PDG. But
Talkett might not though. Talkett loves PDG. Yeah, but I hear what you're saying.
I think Talkett would like Tyler Mott too, though.
I do too. So Mott, $925 ELC for 3 years, 1 year at $975 with us. 2 years at 1.225, and then we traded him at the end of that. And then he signs for Ottawa for 135, and then back down to 800. Wow.
Yeah, and I don't think he was bad last year, was he? Like that doesn't.
No, I can't remember. While you're looking that up,
I didn't really track. He had 10 points. No, he had 19 points last year in 62 games. Like he didn't It's like a 25-point pace. That's pretty good. He was a plus +1 on that Ottawa team and a +2 in New York. And didn't do anything in the playoffs though.
And then thank you, Lucas. Another donation, $5. Also, first American captain for the Canucks, and Mazel Tov, first Jewish captain for your Canucks. Is Quinn Hughes Jewish?
I didn't know that till today either. I think he's the second Jewish captain in NHL history, actually.
Wow. Yeah, and as a religion guy, I should know that. I didn't. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lucas, by the way, for the donation. Yeah.
It's funny if you search, I just tried to find Jewish NHL captains because I wanted to find the who the other one was that was a captain. It's just a list like Jack Hughes, Quinn Hughes, Adam Fox. So some that is just a fun coincidence.
So you guys are way smarter than Dogwood is saying. Quinn is only half Jewish because his father is Catholic. So anyway,
I thought that just goes with your mother's side regardless, though. But again, I'm very uninformed.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, very good. So Tyler Mott goes to Tampa. Who's he replacing? Who did Tampa lose?
I don't know. I haven't followed them too much this offseason.
You make a great point though, Parker, about the $800,000, and that's why every year, and we worry what happens. But July 1st, all the money goes flying out the door. And then July 2, maybe you can sneak in. But if you're not signed by that within a few days of July 1st, there is no money. And we're seeing it. Yeah, exactly what you said. Mm. Wow. Who's left out
right. there? I don't even know. I've got some more topics though. We actually have quite a few that I've got pulled up here. Number 1, Ilya Mikheyev. As of 5 days ago, the quote was that he's still 3 to 4 weeks away from being 100%. I know that when he had the surgery, the thought was he'll be 100% by September. I guess he could technically sneak under the gun on September 30th and be 100% healthy. But Mikheyev's a guy that you want to be getting, that full training camp. With the amount of time he missed last year, you want him to get training camp. You want him to get preseason. But with training camp 10 days away, I'm sure he'll be there doing a lot of the gym work and maybe doing light skates, but doesn't look like he'll be a full participant.
And if we step back and look at the big picture, yeah, of course we're saying, well, wait a sec, hasn't he had since January to have surgery and get ready? Yes. But in the big picture, and his agent Parker Dan Milstein has been saying the same thing. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Let's not rush him back just to get ready for training camp and a few meaningless preseason games as much as the Canucks want to do well. And you have this guy for another few years. You can't rush him back. Yeah, three more years this year included 4.75. So yeah, if we have to wait a week in the season or 2 weeks just to make sure that he's healthy and being the Mikheyev that we need him to be, aggressive, forechecking, defense, all those things, then yeah, there's no rush. Let's be sure.
And that's who you need him to be, right? His strength is his speed, is his skating, right? Mm-hmm. So you don't want him to be playing at 85% for the next 3 years. If it takes a couple of weeks, get him to 100%, let him be at ideally full game speed.
And I'm sure the capologists on the team wouldn't mind, you don't do this on purpose, but if he ends up having to start the season on not regular injury reserve because you don't get the cap relief, but long term now you're talking about 10 games or a couple of weeks at least, then you're getting that prorated that cap hit, and now you're under the cap again.
Yep. Yeah, I forgot they are still $5 million over the cap. With that's Pearson and Pullman though. Have we heard anything on Tanner Pearson the last little while?
Well, remember that Troy Stetcher did that 4-day camp at Richmond, Richmond Arena, Minoru. Pearson looked great, and he said he's ready. He was golfing, so from all accounts, he's going to be a full participant and come off the LTIR. Yeah.
So they got to do something.
They do.
We know that.
They do.
Lucas with another $5. Thank you very much. Saying lots of shocking UFAs still available. Patty Kane, Alex Edler, among others. Potential PTOs. With what money? Yeah, I mean the Canucks could give PTOs just for extra bodies. But I doubt that they end up signing any. It might just be other teams, sort of looking in and scouting on that behalf. But I don't think the Canucks are going to be very active PTO wise this year.
I agree. And by the way, if Mikheyev is healthy, Parker, where do you put him? Where do you put him in the lineup if Mikheyev's healthy?
Oh, I want him high.
Yeah, me too.
I want him playing with. Why don't you just put him with Petey and Kuzmenko? Let's have some fun.
Yeah, me too. I'm with you. I know there's a school of thought, say Beauvillier ended the season with those two guys. And I do have time for the argument. Like, imagine a third line of Suter, Mikheyev, and Höglander or PDG or something like that. The kind of guys that,
Yeah.
But
yeah, you definitely could do that. And but then you worry about, oh, wow, your third line is going to get a couple more points and your first line is not doing as much, right? So there's definitely a balance there for sure.
That is true. Sorry, I interrupted you. You were talking about someone else.
No worries. No, I was just bringing up Luce's donation there before. But the other stuff that I've got a few more links here. Yeah. Quadrelli had a scoop a few days ago. Apparently, the Canucks are in talks with SFU to build a practice facility up on Burnaby Mountain.
Mm-hmm. Are you an SFU alum?
No.
Oh, you're not?
No.
What did you think you were? Okay, yeah, okay.
Seems like a weird place for it. I guess SFU is, they have a hockey team and they would play out of it in theory.
Right.
But like that mountain gets shut down I guess it's only really a few days a year that actually happens. But still, you'd think you'd want it to be accessible. And it seems, most of these guys probably live pretty close to the rink. You'd think they'd want to put it close to the rink, but
yeah,
who knows?
That was my first reaction to it, not because I'm a UBC alumni, but it just seems strange to me. I'm sure they could build a beautiful arena. You're right, that would service the SFU team first and foremost, and then serve as the Canucks practice facility. But you don't have to have your facility in the same complex as your main arena, but you're usually relatively close at least. And you make a really good point of all the guys that bought. Well, we even know JT Miller's on the North Shore. I guess is a whip across Highway 1. But if all the guys are living in Yaletown and close to the arena, whatever, they can make the 30-minute drive out to SFU. It just, yeah, I don't know. I was surprised for sure.
Yeah, the one thing is they're probably going away from traffic in theory if they're going in the morning. Also, they probably usually practice like 9, 10 a.m., 11 a.m. anyways, so not a ton of traffic-wise. Also, apparently Seattle's practice rink is like 35 minutes away from Climate Pledge Arena.
I did not know that.
The New York Rangers practice facility is like an hour away from Madison Square Garden. So, yeah, I don't know why. I guess that seems weird that those teams are doing that, but
yeah,
it's apparently it's not super rare.
Yeah, and then didn't Quadrelli even like kind of circle where he thought it could be, and like it was in the bottom left corner of the map. I don't know where that. Yeah. SFU. Well, I think the article pointed out that it's only Vancouver and Calgary left that don't have practice facilities.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's bad.
For being two huge markets, especially Calgary, because there's so much space that they could. Like Vancouver, it's ocean trapped, right? Like it's ocean locked, and it's it's very expensive to build there. But Calgary is a lot cheaper, and there's a lot more land. You could be on the outskirts of Calgary and be a 20 or a 15-minute drive away from the Saddle Dome. The Saddle Dome is not even that, like, it's not super central anyways.
Right.
So they definitely could have a practice facility, but they need taxpayer money to build a new stadium anyways. So I guess they're a little bit cheap.
Maybe, and I know when they skate out at UBC, it's kind of nice for any UBC students to just kind of skip class or go on a break and check it out. So maybe they want to spread the love to the students then, the post-secondary students.
Sure.
SFU. Okay, gotta think about that one.
All right. I've got more, but I got a few more links. One was, did you see the picture of Philip Ronick?
No, tell me about it.
Oh, he's shredded now. He got big.
Wow.
There's a picture on the Canucks subreddit of him at the end of last season and the beginning of and now, and he looks like he's put on a good 15 pounds of muscle.
Wow.
So that's good. I mean, but the end of the NHL season, guys, usually a lot lighter than they started anyways, because they just you're exercising so much every day. But if you haven't seen it, it's less important.
Yeah, I'll go look at that. I'll try and hopefully it doesn't alter my algorithm, and then I'll worry about that later. Yeah.
Yeah, it might.
okay.
Oh, Lucas, we missed another one from Lucas there a couple minutes ago.
Wow.
Saying his suggestion was actually Cyclone Taylor Arena in Kerrisdale. I don't know any of the Vancouver neighborhoods. I know where the PNE is. I know I know downtown pretty well. Is Kerrisdale? I imagine that's south of downtown.
Yep. South
Lucky
and
guess
a bit west.
because that's where most of the land is.
Yes.
Kerrisdale. Oh, it's way south.
Okay.
Okay, so that's just north of the airport. Okay, I
Right.
mean, I think that would still be. I don't think that's much closer than Simon Fraser. Sort of looking at the map. I guess you're just down the 99 instead of over on just down Hastings. But
Yeah, and I guess it just intuitively it feels a lot closer to downtown, though, for sure.
right, absolutely.
Oh, you know,
Probably more transit accessible. which
yes,
I'm sure
yes,
they need.
yes. I am. By the way, I am looking. I'm looking at this picture of Philip Hronik, and they. You know what's funny, man? They asked me if I'm over 18. I like so.
Yeah,
I was
it popped up. The person
expecting-
tagged it as not safe.
yeah, to be naked or something. No, yeah, no, he looks good. Wow, you can actually see his stomach muscles. Yeah, he looks great.
Yeah, I wish I could do that in. Was it 4 months? However long that is. That's impressive.
I think it's because he's wearing like not a lot of underwear in this picture, but anyway.
I'm sure that helps.
No, he looks awesome. That's pretty cool. That's yeah. And PD, everyone freaks out in a good way about his workout pictures. He's getting more. He's getting bigger as well. So maybe we're just gonna be the big bruising team.
Yeah, you had even Brock Besser had a quote earlier this week. He said he changed gyms, trying something new.
Yeah.
Starting the gym earlier, skating hard. So
Yeah.
I hope we keep saying it, but man, I hope Besser comes out hard this year and is productive.
Yeah, he's kind of like my hot take. And it's not a massively hot take. Maybe it's more of a wishful thinking, but it would be what a difference. Everyone's talking, of course, about Petey Hughes, Miller, and Demko, and our shiny new toys on the blue line, and Pius Suter, who is going to solidify our bottom six. But no one really talks about Besser. And just imagine if he a 50, 60 point guy or a 60 point guy, and that's better defensively. I'll take that. 20, 25 goals from him. 25 goals, hopefully.
Yeah, that's the thing about Besser. Besser is the easiest guy to have as like a bounce back candidate, and he's also a very easy guy to have as like a bust candidate. Right?
Yeah,
like
no, you're right.
He's like if you came to me and said, yeah, Brock Besser's going to put up 65 points this year, I'd be like, oh, good for him. I'm glad he put it together. And if you told me he's going to have 32 points this year, I'd be like, I guess that makes sense, right? Like it really could go either way.
Yeah. There's so many, and that's the other thing. When I meant to say this, when you talked about Mikheyev, we talked about this before, and we're going to be talking about, I'm sure, all September. Is there's such a glut at forward, at wing in particular for the Canucks. Yeah, one or two guys start injured, which could inevitably happen. Then it kind of helps with not only the cap but the decision making. Not you wish that on anyone, but you never know. You never know, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got one last thing I want to bring up, and this was ESPN, so a very reputable hockey news source,
The best.
very knowledgeable. They put out a list of their top 10 point leaders coming into this season.
I know where you're going with this. Yeah.
Yeah, so they had Connor McDavid 1, Leon Draisaitl 2.
Of course.
They had Elias Pettersson number 3 in projected points for this coming season. They project he'll get 116 points and be ahead of Matthew Tkachuk, Jason Robertson, Jack Hughes, Kucherov, McKinnon, Pasternak.
Wow.
That'd be
116 yeah, 116 points. You might as well there's your decimal point. There's $11.6 million or more even. Third in the league behind the two superstars. Sure, I'll take it. I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, if you follow the trend, right? 2020, 2021, ignore the games played, 21 points. 2021, 2022, 68 points. Then last year, 102 points. So we should be getting like 135, 140. It's just a pattern, right?
And did they
Maybe
put
that's
any
what they were going off of.
Yeah, did they put any commentary? Parker,
I didn't see it. It's a screenshot of something weird. Like someone took the list that they posted and made it into a graphic. And I think it's like a Slovakian news outlet posted it. It's a game of telephone to get here, but
yes. But 116 points. Wow. I do think. Oh well. Yeah, I don't. Why am I worried about spoiling my guess for our predictions when I get? Well, I don't know what you. I get smoked every year. So, he's even said he wants to better his points from last season. So,
yep.
I don't know if he's going to better it by that many. Yeah.
He could do it if Kuzmenko is the player he was last season, which might be a bit of a stretch, to be honest, but he could. And Ilya Mikheyev is on their other wing and is really good. Then he could do better, I guess.
Sure.
And maybe playing a little SPK time might help with that too. Although
fair.
he was producing on the penalty kill, especially when he was playing with JT.
Yeah. 5 shorthanded goals each is crazy.
Yeah.
Lucas must have missed us, man. Another great donation. And then he says, Parker. I love how he did this. If you ever need to know about Vancouver neighborhoods, drop me a line. Just so happens I see Cyclone Taylor Arena very often. It is very decrepit and needs some love. Come on, Canucks and Warriors. So I think
that doesn't sound like a great practice facility.
I think Lucas' motivation is that the Canucks sink some money into it. I think
they would fix it up, of course.
Thank you, Lucas. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I haven't been in any Vancouver rinks really.
Because all your league is what? Surrey Langley?
Yeah. Grew up Abbotsford, Langley, Surrey most of the time.
Yeah. We'll take your word for it, Lucas. I know you know the area. I know you're a mainstay in that area. So, but decrepit scares me a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, we are. One more. Michael Del Zotto retired. All right. DJ MDZ.
Yeah.
All right. Let's. That's all the topics I had. If you have any that you want to go to, or you want to go to the people.
Yeah, I'll just ask you one last question, and then we can spend the last 10, 15 minutes with the people. It's funny, the Steve Dangle guys, so SDPN, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake, they're back, like many other shows, back in business, and they talked about Quinn Hughes today, and they didn't give the Canucks defense much love. They said Hughes is awesome. Hronek is going to be great, even though they paid a lot to get him, i.e. first-round pick. And then they didn't give a lot of love to Susie, Cole, Myers, and Rathbone, Brisebois, Willan, and Hirose, whoever ends up in that last spot. And almost to the point where they were not mocking, but they basically said it was Hughes, Hronek, and then a bunch of nobodies. And I don't get offended. You always want to hear good takes about your team, and I just think that they didn't give enough credit to what Cole and Susie could do. Maybe I'm being too optimistic. So I just want to ask you, looking at the makeup of the defense overall, you don't have to tell me who number 6 is going to be, but do you think Cole and Susie can adequately replace Shen and OEL and Stillman, basically?
Oh yeah, can they replace 3 terrible defensemen? Sure, they absolutely can. What a bar. No, but for real. If you're asking if Carson Soucy, okay, let's start with OEL. Yep. I think Carson Soucy can replace OEL just fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. You said Shen. Ian Cole can replace Luke Shen just fine.
Yep,
I think
agree.
He will be better than Luke Shen. He better be for the player that he's supposed to be at the very least. And then that leaves what? Was that you left what? Tyler Myers?
Well, actually, I said no. I said no one. I didn't even name a third guy to replace Stillman. Yeah, but
okay, it's addition by subtraction. That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, but to be fair, you do look at this list and say, okay, it's Hughes and Hronek, and Carson Soucy was really like a 5'6" guy, and Ian Cole is old, and I can see how you would look at that from the outside, and be like, we've obviously spent time looking into them, and we're obviously a little bit biased because we are hoping that they will be good. But I could definitely see how you'd look at this and be like, who's Christian Wolainen? And and you got a number 5'6" guy playing with Quinn Hughes, and you have Ian Cole who's 48 years old. What's Tyler Myers back there.
Yes.
Right? I can definitely see where that might come from.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll see what happens. But I just I want so badly. We both do. We both lament how our channels would do even better if the Canucks were winning games. Actually, remember how fun that was in the bubble?
Oh, it would be a blast if we could come here every Monday night.
Yeah.
And just be like, all right, the Canucks won 2 out of the 3 games this week.
Yeah.
Elias Pettersson had 5 points, and we're talking about, Demko had a shutout, like all this stuff. It would be a blast. Because the last couple of years, it has been some tough sledding in these parts of us trying to not bash our heads into the wall.
God forbid.
Talking about this team.
Yes, God forbid we come to our show on October 16th and we're already talking about a team that's 0-2 or 0-3. I know they got Edmonton. That's it, right? Just the first 2 games.
Edmonton would be the first 2. And that's such gaps between those, eh? Because the first one's the 11th, second game's the 14th, and then they don't play until the 17th.
Are you going on an early season road trip like last year?
No road trip. No road trip in the plans. Yeah. I might go. I want to go to like an Alberta game because it's not as much of a commitment. My friend who I went to with Philly and DC last year, he tried to sell me on the Sens Maple Leafs Habs. But there's no infrastructure to get from city to city, really. Over there, unlike Philly to DC, we took the train and it was great. But they're all farther apart than you would think if you haven't looked at the map before.
Well, use all this Canucks After Dark money we're making tonight and buy yourself a train ticket. You'll be fine.
There's no train. There's trains over there. I don't think there's trains over there.
I don't know. I just
not useful ones at least. No, but I might try to go to like a Flames game or something. Although it's tough because I don't want to go to Calgary in January. So we'll see. We'll see if we can get out there at any point.
Awesome. Okay, I think. Are we gonna commit to going weekly from here on in?
I think we're good. We should be good. We've got because now we're getting to the point where next week we can, hopefully we have some new stuff drop. We might have Tanner Pearson news and
young stars
news as we're at Young Stars as we're really dialing into training camp. Right, training camp starts next Thursday, and then our show on the 25th we will have actual training camp discussions. To be had, and we will have one Vancouver Canucks game to talk about on the 25th.
You're right. It is shaping up well because next week is about Young Stars, along with any other news. The week after, it's training camp. The week after is preseason schedule, and then we got one big prediction show, I guess, and then wow, okay, man, this feels good.
Yeah, predictions we'll probably do like October 9th, maybe the 2nd, but I'm thinking maybe the 9th, right before the start of the season.
Yep.
And then we're in the full swing. We'll have the 2 games to talk about on the 16th of October.
Wow.
We are. The first Canucks game is a month away to the day.
You going?
Probably not.
Yeah, me neither. It's my church night. It's funny. It's not funny. Tuesday, Wednesday night were always my no-fly zones. Tuesday was bowling, as you know, and Wednesday was my church night. But I can't bowl because of my legs. So technically, it opens up one more night of games I can go to.
You could probably bowl pretty poorly.
Actually, we did have a work.
You could be in a chair and just.
I will say we had a work event there that we had planned for 4 months out. So I tried once. I didn't scoot up there, but because I would just go down the lane and hit the pins with my face. So I went up to the foul line, put my brake on, and I still was able to swing it. I hit 9 out of the 10 pins, so it's not bad.
So you did better than I would have.
Well, I think I did better than I normally. Yes, so we'll make it work. That's my point.
All right, sounds good. All right, let's go to the people. Jaskran suggesting that maybe we're the problem. Not the 50+ years of history with this hockey, this cursed hockey franchise. It's us for sure.
I think he's actually angling towards one of us. I don't know which one though. But Peter says 2 questions with Quinn being captain. Would this elevate his game from a maturity standpoint and skill? And Parker, would be your pitch to Petey to sign the extension? Would you sing an opera? Okay, very random. Go ahead, Parker. He asked you.
Well, I think the second one was for me. I'll start with the second one. Would I sing an opera to get Petey to sign an extension? If it's in private, sure.
Yes.
If I get a cut, sure. I'll take 10%.
Oh yeah.
Then I'll do it in public. So he's going to make what, like $100 and something million? Yeah, I'll do it for 1%. As for the first question, Would being captain elevate his game from a maturity standpoint and skill? I think it could give him a little bit more confidence, but I don't think it would be tangible.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to think that he's so driven to improve anyways. So C or no C. But yeah, there's certainly not that he would do this anyways, but there's gonna be no hiding either because he's gonna be the one talking after every game. I like this from Shiraz. If Parker doesn't deliver a show from his bathroom floor this year, that means the Canucks were better than last year. Was that? Did you do one show?
No, that wasn't the bathroom floor. That was the regular floor. Okay, it was the office floor.
I remember that.
This floor, I'll get a rug in here, and then
it's a nice floor.
If things are going poorly, I will make a return. Hopefully, I can stay in this chair for the majority of the season.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of D, Skoll says, would be nice to trade for one more solid D-man. With the D right now, I think they'll miss the playoffs. Yeah, to trade, though, you have to give up assets. Maybe you're thinking about one of our overpriced wingers, but I don't know. It's hard to move those guys right now.
Yeah, I don't think you're getting much for them. You might be able to move, like as a cap dump, maybe you're moving Beauvillier.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get, but then, you're probably getting like a $1 to $2 million number 6 defenseman who's like, well, just sign Ethan Bear. Yeah. Honestly, that would make things way easier.
Yeah.
They have so much. If someone goes down, they're not going to get much worse as long as it's not one of the core guys because they have so many in the system. It's just about having guys that are actually going to make a difference. And to get those guys, one, they have to have the cap space to do so, and two, they probably would have to give up, prospects or draft picks or whatever that would have to be.
Right. Fangirl, I don't know a lot about Arizona, but I do know that I've been to Mesa before. It's a beautiful part of Arizona. I've been there many times, actually. How do you see the Coyote situation ending up relocation or sharing Suns Arena or possibly land in Mesa? I'll start, Parker, because I really don't know. I don't follow it. I do know that I know Bettman is loath to move the team out of there, obviously. Like, they're still there.
They are still there. They seem to want to stay there. I don't know. I made a video about it in May, and then a bunch of things changed, and I stopped paying attention because it didn't seem that imminent. I feel like they'll find a way to stay there because they seem to always figure something out. But with how much has gone on with that franchise, it's crazy that they still exist.
Yeah. I agree. I don't know if this was discussed earlier. Who gets the A's? Does anyone lose their A in favor of an incoming player? So it's interesting. In the press conference, they almost hinted. They didn't say it, but there's almost this hint that I think Miller and Petey are no-brainers. They were A's last year. Then it was Ekman Larson and Hughes. So you got to replace Ekman Larson. Do you think Demko actually gets an A, or do you think he's just acknowledged? No, he's an acknowledged member of the leadership group, but he won't get an A.
Yeah, I think he just happened to show up this morning and be supportive. No, I think he's part of the leadership group, but they're not going to give him a letter. It's an interesting one.
Myers get an A while he's still here? I could see it.
I could see it. I could definitely see it.
I think his teammates like him. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't love it because I don't really want to give an A to a guy who you might be scratching 30 games into the season, right?
Well, they bought out the last guy who had an A on it.
They sure did. Maybe they shouldn't be giving the A's to bad players. I think there's a leadership component too, but there's also at least like a base skill level that you need to be hitting. Like I would put money on Tyler Myers being healthy scratched at some point this season, right? Just because there's so many guys pushing for those spots, right? Yeah. That they're going to want to give a game to here or there if Myers is struggling, right? And it's probable that will happen at some point. Yeah. The other options, you could go Besser.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Longest tenured Canuck. Yeah. Yep.
Is he really?
He is. Yeah.
It's so bizarre.
After Horvat got traded, Besser's the longest tenured Canuck.
That's such a weird thing to think about.
Yeah. Remember we used to talk about the core four being Petey, Hughes, Horvat, and Besser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Horvat's like 30 now. No, he's not, but it feels like it. Yeah,
What do you
no,
think?
I could see it being Besser again, especially if he has like a really strong preseason. Although I'm sure they'll have that figured out for the most part. I'm sure it'll be an in-house vote though.
That's fair. That's fair. Question from Edmund: what do you guys think Quinn still needs to improve on? You know, one thing when I saw this question, I was thinking about. He takes long shifts. I don't know if you notice that, especially in overtime. But I know in overtime it's hard to change, and you want your best players out there. But there's so many times last time, Parker, where they would give up the puck, and you just see him skating, trying his best to skate back, and he's so tired. And then you just hope that somehow he's going to block the 2-on-1. I just have visions of that for some reason, but
That's
whatever.
what I do in overtime too.
Yeah.
3-on-3 overtime, because what happens is you're really tired.
Yeah.
But then the puck comes your way because there's only 6 guys on the ice. So if your team
Right.
gets the puck, you're probably going to touch it at some point. And then you look and you see so much ice in front of you, and you're like, I can do one more rush. And then you fall into the corner, or you go down the right wing and shoot wide left side, and they're gone the other way, and you're not making
Right.
it back. So I empathize with that. I cannot speak right now. But yeah, I think that's fair. But also he's good enough that I'm okay with him spending some time on the ice if he wants to.
How about a slap shot? You think he's got to do some work on that?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Okay.
It doesn't produce much, but most don't.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially he has a knack for getting the puck through, which is the most important part, right?
Yeah.
Because shooting percentage from the blue line is 2-3%. It's and goalies are good enough that they're gonna if they can see it from that far out, they're gonna stop it.
But you just look at his goal totals: 8-3, a shortened season, 8-7. That's not even 10. 10.
Yeah, but he's a playmaker. That's his job, right? He's not a goal scorer, but you've seen a little magic here and there. But yeah, I'm okay with a guy having 7 goals if he's going to have 80 assists or whatever he'll end up with.
Okay. Why don't you pick some now?
All right, let me do a little scrolling. Edmund thinks Ian Cole could get an A. Possibly. I think if he comes into the room, and again, we don't know how that'll work, but I imagine it's either Hughes picking or a team vote. That's usually how those work.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't be the most surprising thing. Spartan brings up Kuzmenko. I don't think Kuzmenko would get an A.
No.
As of yet.
Yep. I agree.
It was easier when you were picking them.
I can help.
You started. These are all just super chats. Never mind.
Yeah. Peter, if the Canucks win 5 straight, Clay will have to stream Canucks After Dark from the steam room. No, we've worked very hard to build up our 1.5K subscribers. We don't want to lose 1,000 of them in one show.
Yeah, that might be bad. That might not go well.
Skull, a follow-up to that other person who said we think we're one trade short. I do not think they need one more solid D-man. I think they need good play from their current D-man, but you need someone kind of pushing from the bottom who's only making $1 million and who's kind of overplaying their contract. That's what you need. So I'm maybe I'm being foolhardy here, but I think they have the defense to make the playoffs, but they got to play well, obviously.
Yeah, I think they have a very middling defense until you get to Susie, Cole, Wallin, and Myers. If that's your 4, your 3 through 6.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that. I'm saying, yeah, that's probably below average. Right. But then I'm looking at Hughes and Hronek as your 1-2, and I'm thinking, okay, that's above average, right? That's pretty good. So all in all, they probably have a pretty average defense.
Yeah, that's fair.
But if everything goes well, they should have maybe the 10th best goalie in the NHL, right? Maybe a little better, maybe a little worse. Who knows, right? But they also probably won't have a great backup. We'll see how Spencer Martin does. But so maybe goaltending, maybe just above average, right? All encompassing. And then you look at the forwards, and I think the forwards are pretty good. And I think they are above average. So all in all, I think the Canucks are a slightly above average team if everything goes as it is on paper.
Sure.
But yeah, having a real number 3 and 4 defenseman right? Like a bona fide, like, or if you have like another, like a number 2 guy who you're going to play as your number 3 that some teams do have, right? That would be fantastic. But the Canucks don't have that.
I can't. I got to be careful. I can't slam Jason because he helps sponsor me on my channel. But he says Horvat is an afterthought. He'll never be forever Canuck. He's Messier 2.0. So Jay, that might be a little bit strong.
I don't think that's. Yeah, I think that's a little. That's a little bit of an overstatement.
Yeah, but I like it. I still like it. Hugh, yeah, Viper agrees with you. Hugh shoots so guys can tip it in more than the score. I agree. I agree with that. Jaskrin's asked us twice, so maybe you should address it. Are you going to do post-game live streams?
I am not sure yet. I'm thinking I'm going to maybe do them once in a while, but I think it's easier to commit to. Look, if the team is good and they're winning, I will probably do more. But I think I'm going to do a bit more video instead of live sometimes, just because they're a bit quicker. I can easily get my thoughts out.
Yep.
But I'm going to try to intersperse. We'll try to mix them up a little bit.
I love it. I love it. The Elder says, I still think they lack size. The wingers are mostly hobbits. Well, that's way better. One person used the M word when you describe a short person. One person used the M word on one of my videos today.
Are people just looking into Connor Garland too much? Like, I don't think that's true.
Well, I'm trying to picture, like, Besser's not small. Mikheyev's not small. I guess Höglander's a bit tiny, but he plays.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up. Let me pull up the list of wingers here, right? Yeah. So you've got Beauvillier, who is he's 5'11". He's a little shorter. You've got Besser, who is 6'1".
Yeah,
that's
Besser's
fine.
not small. Yeah.
Kuzmenko's 5'11". Okay, maybe a little small, but not that small, right? Garland is 5'10", but he's not. He's like 5'8".
5'10"?
Yeah, that's a lie. I guess Höglander's kind of small. Dakota Joshua was 6'2".
Yeah.
PDG isn't that small. What's Mikheyev? Mikheyev's 6'3".
He's 6'3".
Tanner Pearson's 6'1".
Yeah.
You know, I think if you look at like league size or like average size, I'm sure maybe they're like 18th or something. Like I'm sure they're average.
I do know this. I've stood next to Connor Garland before. I'm 5'6", so tall. I know I'm embarrassed that Gary Bettman's taller than me, but there's no way Garland is 4 inches taller than me. There's no way.
No chance.
Wow.
All right, well, we're at the. Oh, go ahead.
Last one. Are you getting NHL 24?
That's what I'll get it. I'll waste my money on it. Yeah, I get it to play clubs with my friends, and that's it. Yeah. And I'll probably play like 9 times over the year.
And then you can use the 18th ranked defenseman, Quinn Hughes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, folks. We are past the hour mark. While you're here, make sure you're subscribed because we got a bunch of big shows coming up as we're barreling into the season. So if you're not subscribed yet, you might as well be. Hit like. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm ParkersPucks. He's Canuck Clay. You can find our YouTube channels, ParkersPucks, Canuck Clay. As we're ramping up into the season. Now is the time to be here. If you missed any part of the show, you can find it on your favorite podcast platform in a matter of 15, 20 minutes or so. Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, whatever you use, it will be there. And I know a lot of you sort of came in late as the chart always increases throughout the show. So you're welcome to always rewind back on YouTube. Before we go, Clay, any parting words this fine Monday evening?
On behalf of both of us, I will give the big thank you to everyone who was extra generous today in more than just their time. Lucas with donations, Carol, Fangirl, and Rob using membership messages, Spartan with some donations, and then of course Coach Rob and Carol gifting memberships to 15 memberships today to match the number of captains the Canucks have now had in their history. So thank you. And Parker, I'm excited. We know that we can feel it. It's in the air. Canucks hockey is around the corner, and it's going to be a great year for this show and this community. I can't wait.
Oh, I hope they're good. All right. All right, folks. Thank you again very much for joining. Have a lovely night, a lovely week, and we will catch you next Monday.